it.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Digit, and this is the Streetcast. Week 11, and this week our headliner is Apple versus gaming ? Apple versus Fortnite ? That is going to be the title of the podcast this week for sure, but that's not exactly what's going on. So you've probably seen a lot of articles titled by boomers who are trying to get clicks on the internet. TechCrunch has a good example, and listen to this title real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Apple goes to war with the gaming industry. No, they're not. But kind of, I guess. But let's talk about it a little bit, okay? So what we have is that Apple kicked Fortnite off the App Store, all right? So a lot of you would say, wow, I wonder what occurrence would lead to such a thing happening. And of course, it's about money. So here's what happened. Apple has an App Store. And if you have anything on that App Store that costs money, Apple gets a cut. Even if you have in-app purchases within that app, Apple gets a cut. So what Epic Games did, which is the creator of Fortnite, is that they created a loophole in the app where there was an in-app way to get their currency, to get V-Bucks, that skirted around Apple getting a cut. So, of course, that's against Apple's term of use, so they took Fortnite off the App Store. What followed is that Epic Games used Fortnite as a means to absolutely slander Apple about, and I just think it's hilarious, just slander Apple about their business practices and all this junk. When in reality, what we have is not a debate of ethics. No. We have $2 billion companies fighting with each other about money. So if you've listened to the podcast before, you've listened to the antitrust debate that we had. It's in regards to the recent antitrust hearings that a lot of these companies had. Apple being one of them. In the specific case of Apple being at the antitrust hearing was that if an app wants to be on an iPhone, it has to go through the App Store. There's no other option. And because of that, Apple 100% gets a cut. No debating, nothing. Apple will get a cut because they have to go that way. Definition of monopoly, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there's a lot more in that debate. Go listen to that podcast. But that's, again, the basis of that. Epic Games, seeing that Apple just had a bad time at the antitrust hearings, definitely chose to capitalize off of that event and just took advantage of the situation, in my opinion, creating a PR stunt, posting videos. If you've ever seen Apple's famous ad, where it's kind of 1984, everyone's marching and looking at the screen, and then an Olympic athlete throws like a barbell or something through the screen, and hey, Apple computers. It was like an 80s ad or something back in the day. Back before my day, haha. No, but if you've ever seen that, Fortnite did a stunt of it, posted it on Twitter about them breaking free from Apple. Like, what the fuck? You're $2 billion companies. Don't discuss morality when in reality, don't discuss morality when the reality has nothing to do with that debate. Okay? So that's just my thoughts on that. The same thing's happening with Google. They got kicked off of the Google Play Store for the same exact reason. But again, it's Fortnite. They'll be back on there 100%. It's just a case of a little craziness going between Apple and Epic, and then Epic in general. But I want to circle back to the TechCrunch article that I discussed in the beginning, kind of made fun of. The Apple goes to war with the gaming industry. Here's the author.
Lucas Matney.
So he discussed, as well as the Fortnite issue, the Xbox, the new Xbox cloud gaming app. So if you don't know, Xbox currently offers their, what's it called? Like their their Game Pass, the Xbox Game Pass. So if you have a subscription to Game Pass, it's a lot like Netflix. Then you can go in and play all these games for free, and all you have is a monthly bill. That's it. It's pretty awesome. It's the best deal in gaming right now, period, the end. If you're on PC, I would 1,000% recommend it, even if you're a new to PC or even if you're a veteran of PC gaming. Check it out. It's not something that I like, but it's the best deal you have in gaming right now. But Microsoft is trying to combine that into a new system called cloud gaming, and they want to be similar to Google Stadia, I believe it's called. Google Stadia? Yeah. They want to be similar to Google Stadia, whereas Google tried to create a gaming, quote-unquote, app where you can play on your phone, on Chrome, on any device at any point that you want. Microsoft is trying to do the same thing and combine it with their Xbox Game Pass. The problem with this is while Google Stadia was available on Apple iPhones, they're trying to make it into an app on Apple devices, on iOS devices. Google Stadia wasn't an app, but you could just access it through Chrome. The Xbox Cloud Gaming is getting blocked by Apple as well. Why? Well, for the same reasons. It's because of Apple's approval and money being involved. A lot of the in-app purchases and some of the subscription-based things go straight to Microsoft in this regard, whereas Apple wants a cut. Even if it's a subscription-based service like, Netflix or something, it's a miracle Netflix is on there because their money goes to Netflix. So Microsoft is trying to argue with Apple right now. Does their cloud gaming app qualify as a Netflix deal where it's a subscription based just for the service, or is it more of a in-app purchase deal where people buy and upgrade and therefore Apple gets a cut? So that's the debate going on right now. So if you see an article about Apple going to war with the gaming industry, it's either in regards to the Fortnite controversy or in regards to Xbox cloud gaming app controversy, both of which are billion-dollar companies discussing money. Oh my. If the more this happens, the more the antitrust hearing that happened a while ago becomes more and more important. And I would argue more and more of a necessity to happen again and to be a little more intense and to ask more important questions than what they did. Because we will see in the next 10 years major changes in our online community, major changes in the internet in general, and I hope that we're going the right direction. All right, next up, speaking of Microsoft, Halo Infinite has been delayed to 2021. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? Can you absolutely imagine? You have hyped up Halo Infinite. You're like, yes, this is going to be the game that's going to launch with our new console. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be pristine. People are going to buy our console just to play Halo. No, it's not that. It's not 2000s and 10s and 2000s anymore. No. If I want to play Halo Infinite, I'll play it on the PC. And as you heard in my latest podcast, I don't want to play Halo Infinite because it didn't look that good. And a lot of people on the internet said it didn't look that good either. So do I really think that Microsoft's claim that Halo Infinite needs to be delayed due to COVID restrictions and then being out of the office and blah, blah, blah? No, I don't believe that. And here's why. Because they were hyping Halo up so consistently. They had a showcase that was mainly about Halo. It was about Halo gameplay. And once they had that showcase and everyone said it looked like shit, that's when they decide to announce a couple days later, 2 or 3 days after their event, that they're going to delay it. What? I mean, I understand it, right? I understand that COVID has had a massive impact on game development. Any media in general has had a massive impact because of COVID. But at the same time, folks, right after you do a massive showcase of the game, after you show gameplay for the first time, that's when you decide. That sounds like you were incredibly disappointed by the game's reception and said, we need to hit the reset button a little bit. That's what that sounds like. And that's the theory I'm going with. So Halo has been delayed to 2021. But let's talk about some more interesting news here. If you're thinking about getting a PC, I would say wait just 2 or 3 more weeks. There's significant rumor that NVIDIA is announcing the new graphics cards on September 1st. And if that will be the case, everything else will drop in price. But we might have some RTX 3080s inbound, which would be insane. Am running a laptop right now for a couple more years, and then I'll be a little more settled down to where I can get a desktop again. But until then, I am excited to see what they have for the 3080s. And, if there's anything new there. Next up, on the streamer side, we have Games Done Quick. If you're unfamiliar, Games Done Quick is a channel and production team that runs speedruns for games. Now, what they do is that every year they have a summer speedrun event that raises money for charity. And they go through all sorts of old games, new games, you name it. And they just try to play it as fast as they can, break some world records, and just raise some money. Is it always cringy? Usually. But it's pretty funny at the same time and really cool to see people run these games as fast as they do. So if you want to check that out, that is Games Done Quick on Twitch, starting on August 16th, which is today, ladies and gentlemen. Games Done Quick is now on today. Let's take a look and see what they're streaming at the time of this podcast. So as I'm recording this podcast, they are currently streaming ICO, which I don't know what ICO is, ICO, but that's what they're streaming. Cool. That concludes our discussion on the news for this day. But I just want to say, before everyone heads out for the week, I will be able to get one more episode of this podcast in before I leave next week to go on the trip. And if you do hear updates on the podcast after next week, I just want everyone to know that the audio quality might be worse, might not be great. So please give me your feedback. Listen to some of the old podcasts if you get an itch. But I will continue on the podcast. The audio quality just won't be as good. And I apologize. But as soon as I'm back, we'll be back on the nice microphone and the good old Rode equipment. So with that, short podcast this week. But, it's just one of those things that happens because Apple and Fortnite and Microsoft and their little gaming feud has taken up the majority of the gaming news this week. Oh, one more thing, per usual, per the announcement. Fall Guys. That little game right now is making major headlines on Twitch and just the YouTube community in general. I'm going to play it tonight. You're going to see some gameplay of it next week, probably with the mighty, marvelous, and wonderful Lucille. She just fixed me some carrot cake muffins this week, and they were so good. Huh. But I'm smelling some tuna burgers that she's cooking right now. She's an incredible cook, and I'm excited to have some of that dinner. It's going to be awesome. But anyway, check out Fall Guys. You're going to see some gameplay of that next week, and let me know what y'all think. Other than that, thanks for checking out the podcast, wherever you listen. Thanks for coming by, and I hope you have a great week. Remember, smile.